I do have to ask about this, so I hope you guys are ready. This game is one that was started a long time ago. That sort of got left on the back burner for a long time. Is that right?
Eddie MRA had back in 1999, which started out as a remake of Super Mario Land 2, that was shelved because Multimedia Fusion was too buggy. Come 2007, he makes a new version in the Hello engine, and that one really got kicked off in popularity, getting a million views back in the old days of YouTube, which was quite a lot. Development went on until 2012, where few events happened, some devs had to leave, and there was a bit of worry about Nintendo's anti-fan content, like, thinking at the time. So it was on hiatus from 2014 to 2018 until TechLock revived it towards the end of 2018. And I picked it up from 2019, and we just went from there.
So,
Techlock is in the chat right now.
sorry, could you say that again, Curb?
I think Techlock is in the chat right now.
Yes.
Yeah, there
Oh
is.
yeah, I could see them right there. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit a follow on them because I want to see if they make any stuff on stream. If they do, that'd be pretty cool. Let's see. Took over the reins after that. Very cool. Well, hey, Techlock, great job on that video, dude. Guys, I have to ask about this though. Like, from what I understand, because part of the reason I even was able to kind of talk about this game as much as I did is because names are useless. Would pop into my streams as I was playing the game, and we would talk about it. And he had mentioned
Sometimes.
what's that?
He really goes out and tries to get the word out about the game.
Yeah, it was great actually having them there, and he loved. I loved being able to talk to him about the different features of the game and different levels. But he was mentioning about how one of the struggles is that you guys are dealing with a very old version of Game Maker, which like Game Maker's great. Don't get me wrong, but like there's got to be a lot of challenges that come along with that. Like you can't really just make it in a new engine, from what I understand. So like how much does that difficulty impact your development process?
Goodness, I could probably write a book with how much that affects the development. I mean, it helps that we're running on a slightly modified version of GameMaker 8.1. Shout outs to the 8.2 dev team, by the way. They are the reason why the game's doing as well as it is right now. But there's so much that can be said. I mean, from the messy code base to the a lot of redundant graphics to just there were so many things that needed to be optimized or fixed, and that's still an ongoing effort even after all this time. That's why it's been in development for as long as it has been.
So what would you say is one of the biggest challenges that results from that?
The biggest challenge really is that we can't really. It takes a lot longer to fix issues from the inside out. It requires a lot more work because we basically have to remake entire systems from scratch, which can take a long time, since there's already things implemented in a very specific way. So often it's just making things work, like, based off the old systems while trying to just remake them from scratch.
What about you, Curb? Do you think that there's something specific that stands out more to you?
Well, I'm not as involved in like the, the real technical stuff like Duke is. I do some programming. I mostly make enemies and such. However, there are some other things that I'm involved in that get a little difficult because of how old of an engine Game Maker is. Like I'm one of the cutscene animators on the game, and the way that you make a cutscene in the Game Maker is using a timeline. It's basically like a sequence of pieces of code that you can tell an object to run at a specific time. But like you can't really get a feel right away for the things you've changed. Like you need to load up the game every single time you make one single change, just to see if it's good or not.
Yes, he's right about that. We don't have a way to see changes in real time. We always have to recompile the game for every change that we make. So that's the biggest problem right now.
Yeah, it's not like Unity, for instance, where you can just load up a single room and just see the changes immediately. You need to like recompile the entire game, wait for it to load, and then go through the whole menu and stuff to go to the exact point that you need to be to test what you just wrote. That's a bit of an that can be very tedious at times.
Mm-hmm. No, I think about this as well. Whenever it comes to, like, the difficulty of putting together a game this large, it seems insane to me too, because like not only are you guys working off of a relatively older system, but you're making so many different levels within several different worlds, which is like honestly even more than some modern games will put out these days. And you've got all of these different characters that you have to account for within those stages as well. And each of these characters, you've done a pretty good job at uh, giving them unique play styles without like making them again feel too samey betwixt one another. I mean, certain ones from certain games are going to feel sort of similar, but the fact that you have to account for that through each of these levels designs, I feel like that is just a mountain of things you have to think about throughout every single stage development process. What do you think is probably the hardest thing whenever it comes to implementing all these different characters? Is that more like on the coding side, or is it like more on the game design stage aspect?
So it's a bit of both, really. With the different characters that you have to implement, you have to make sure that they all work with all the other systems in the game. The most difficult character, surprisingly, wasn't actually Kirby, but rather Sonic, because his what's it called? The way he interacts with enemies, which is to say, not from always the top, but from other sides, means
Mm-hmm.
that each and every single enemy has to have interaction specifically coded for him and Tails. Um, and then on the other hand, with making levels, you can't make assumptions about the player's ability too much. So we had to make a lot of changes to earlier levels in the game where you would expect to stomp on the enemies, where that can't really be assumed anymore.
I also did notice I made one of the levels, Treasure Trove Cove in World 6,
Oh
also in
yeah,
Banjo-Kazooie.
yeah. That
And
was a really fun stage.
thank you. Well, I during testing, I noticed that certain jumps were just impossible to perform as certain characters, so I had to make a lot of tweaks in that regard. And even I think the first version that publicly released, there was one jump that I think Samus couldn't perform. So something did slip out eventually. But yeah, that's something that you need to think about.
So this is actually kind of focused on, I guess, Curb here, since you make a lot of the cutscenes and everything. I actually
Yeah.
love the cutscenes, especially the interactions between specific characters and the world bosses. That was something that I loved being able to do as I went into each of them, and I really wanted to almost play a character, go into the engagement, see the interaction between that character and the boss, and then die and change the character to make it. You know, I wanted to see all of the characters' interactions doing it that way. But I mean, obviously, like in the
It's very fun.
yeah, I just love seeing all of those cool ways that you have these characters interacting with one another. How do you decide to make that work? Like how do you have to think about that? Like how does, Dr. Wily register like who the hell is Samus Aran, you know?
Well, I'm not really involved in like the writing process. I did
Mm-hmm.
write a couple of cutscenes, but most of that is done by other members of our team. However, we usually do think about like what are like key aspects of that character that the boss would comment on, like uh, I can't really think of an example for it right now, but yeah, like for instance, Wiley and Eggman doesn't have any dialogue at the moment, but Wiley, for instance, feels superior to everybody else. And for instance, I think he considers Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins to be archaic, and that's one of those interactions that you can pick up on. Like Ghosts and Goblins is like set in like a medieval setting, so to Wiley, that would come across as like really archaic and old.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense to me. That's one of the reasons why it's really fun to see those interactions too. Like, how do things kind of change up between all of these different characters? And really, the whole multiverse theory, I think, really lends itself to that kind of storytelling super well. Now, and this actually kind of leads me to. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun recently implementing all sorts of cameo appearances from random characters everywhere.
Actually, speaking of, I love the Lost Viking references.
More of those in the next version, so we'll look out for that.
So I believe it's Gehenna is a world that was made specifically for Mushroom Kingdom Fusion. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
So why did you guys feel like that you needed to implement Gehenna? And obviously, like, we can avoid spoilers, but I figure if you guys are straight from the horse's mouth, like, why was it important for you guys to develop an entirely original world for the storytelling? Like, why was this such a heavy feature for you guys?
So it was actually it was part of the original idea for the game that the old team had. We didn't like come up with it, but we did put our own spin on it. We really used that that world to explore like the fusionist and everything around him.
Yeah. Just to add on to that, Gehenna started out as a world of generic water levels, as they described it on the wiki, but it was fleshed out because the original ideas for the game's story were very linear and very over the top, for lack of a better descriptor. A lot of very fanciful stories and original characters were added, but Gehenna kind of just languished because no levels really existed, except for like a couple of them. We liked the idea of having a world that acts as a repository for like the more original ideas. So we kept that aspect, but the characters that were added in the original draft were almost entirely thrown out.
So, as a curiosity here for you guys' preferences, what would you say is your favorite worlds and your favorite characters in the games?
You want to go first, Luke?
I'll go first, yeah. My favorite character is probably... It used to be Wario, and I kind of switch between Wario and Ryu a lot. They're probably my favorite to play as. As for favorite world, that's a bit of a tough one. I mean, probably World 8, with just how varied it is. It's kind of the like the pinnacle of the game in terms of just all the sheer variety of gameplay elements and gimmicks and everything.
Yeah, I also really love World 8. I was like I was responsible for like the entire story of that world. And yeah, I also like just how varied it all is. And it has some of my favorite games represented, and it's also fun. As for characters, I usually gravitate towards a few of them. Mostly Arthur. I think I've played him since like the very beginning, since I discovered the game back in 2008. I also play Waluigi and Kirby a lot. Sometimes also Simon.
It's interesting that you guys are listing Wario and Waluigi between those two because I think they're great characters. But I do feel like a lot of times, especially whenever it comes to platforms and platformers, and I said this even on streams, that a lot of times characters with a lot of aerial mobility have a tendency to just dominate. You know, whenever it comes to a lot of games, just because you have so much control. So it's like whenever I kind of want to revisit that topic, like planning stages around specific characters like characters like Firebrand, he has just such an absolute absurd amount of aerial mobility. How do you even plan for a character like that?
So for somebody like Firebrand, it basically just comes down to trying to find like a good balance between how does he feel to play an MKF versus how does he uh, work in his original game. So, you have to find compromises for certain characters to work. Uh, in Firebrand's case, he's able to cling onto walls, but his flight is fairly limited by the meter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a series of compromises, really, with each character.
So I've got
Yeah.
another question here. Oh, sorry, Gerbman, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Uh, I'm actually curious about the development of the game moving forward. So you guys are moving towards a full release soon, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, so we're trying to finish up the game's story and cutscenes and everything. Most of the work on the back end of the game is more or less finished. Most of the work is going to be handled. Most of the work for the cutscenes and story is going to be handled by the other devs, but there are a few gameplay elements that we'd still like to implement. Um, I don't know how long it's going to take for the 1.0 release, but I can at least let it be said that a new version of the game is going to be coming out within a few weeks or so. So, look forward to quite a few changes in the near future.
Yeah, we nearly have all levels outside of the final world done.
Now, whenever it comes to those future goals, whenever it comes to the full release of the game, do you guys have any big plans for what you've worked on afterwards? Are you guys going to continue working on things together? Do you have other projects in mind, or is it just focusing on getting this completed right now?
Right now, we're just focusing on getting this game completed. I don't think we have any plans at the moment to do any other projects after this. I mean, because most of our time is occupied by this, and it's already a hobby project for most of us. So you never know what the future may hold. But for now, MKF is our primary focus.
Yeah, well, I also do a bit of game dev on the side. I'm working on a game right now, so maybe.
Yeah, actually, I'll jump off on that point. Even if some of us aren't going to be making projects like together as a team again, some people here are definitely making their own indie projects. So there's going to be a bit of that going on, and hopefully, once we're done with the game's story and everything, we can get it open sourced after the final release comes out.
Are you guys still worried about Nintendo kind of being a little bit more aggressive on its like anti fan content policies? I mean, that has calmed down a bit, but still, I mean, I feel like, especially with recent developments, it is a little bit scary.
Absolutely. It depends. I mean, there's telltale signs of if a game is going to get taken down or not. Anything that's a direct remake of something Nintendo made or a direct competitor with something that they're making, that usually tends to get taken down. Unfortunately, you can't really predict what Nintendo's making, such as the case of Mario Royale and Mario 35. So sometimes it's just really tough luck. But, as long as the game remains free and better for whoever makes fan content off of it, as long as it remains free, I don't think there's going to be any problems.
We've been fine for over a decade so far, so who knows?
Yeah. So while I've got you guys here in particular, I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit because we're running out of time. But I want to hear a little bit about what you guys do specifically, and if you guys have any social media pages, or if you guys do commissions, or if you guys would like to try to find more work with this kind of thing in the future. Are there any links that you'd like to post, or anybody you'd like to shout out?
So in my case, I'm the lead programmer. Most of what I handle is just a lot of back-end code for, all the engine like systems and everything. Aside from that, I also handle the game's a lot of the sound effects in the game. I tend to rip those or put those together. Other than MKF, I don't really work on a whole lot else, but I suppose I can probably put my YouTube channel up because I occasionally post videos every now and then.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, man. Post that up. Let everybody know. What about you, Curb?
Well, I'm a bit of a generalist. I'm mostly doing like custom sprite work, programming, and like I said earlier, cutscene animation. But I also designed a few levels, and I even arranged a music track for the game. Beside that, I'm mostly active on my YouTube channel, which is just Kirbman. And I do make games under the name Tanoshi Games on itch.io. It's Tanoshi, Tanoshee. You can find all sorts of projects I've worked on, mostly game jam games there.
Let me see if I can find. I know you filled out the mini application, I believe, in the server, and I want to try to grab your links that you posted there and get those posted as well, so that way people can check you guys out. Are there any last words that you guys want to maybe try to get out there for anybody while we've still got just a little bit of time left?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for the support from everybody, and thanks to all the other devs for making this game possible, because we couldn't have done it without any of you guys. So thank you.
Well, thank you too for being our lead. Running the game.
Yeah, it's been a great game. I mean, hell of a project, guys. I really do have to give you a good round of applause there. And whenever I found out, you guys were dealing with such an old system too, it was kind of a mind blow. I'm not gonna lie. So I feel like I really got to give you guys some props, and I hope everybody out there watching right now too, it really gives them a good round of applause. And if you guys ever want to try to get some more information out there, don't be afraid to let me know, and I'll be playing the rest of the game. So don't expect me to disappear. I guess after this, I'll be talking about it. Like in the Discord.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks guys for popping in once again.